that's the wrong one.
Else get a headache, here's what I want you to do first. Eat a banana. If you eat a banana.
All right, Black Box Radio. Listen, I'm super excited. So listen, you're just gonna have to deal with this excitement tonight because you don't even know. I'm gonna tell you the backstory in a minute, but you don't even know what I've been trying to get this black man and that black seed with my black self. So I am just so happy tonight to have DW, but we're gonna get to him. This is the Black Fathers Matter series. This series actually matters. It's very important that we celebrate black men. This is a country where black men are attacked in every way. The black community, of course, but black men are the number one. They get all the spears, and then we get the rest of the spears. Black women get a lot too, but black men are walking in a lot of pressure living in this society. So it takes the community to put them on pedestals, to love on them, and make sure that they understand that we need them. We got to do something with black men's mental health and how they feel about themselves, because when they feel great about themselves, they treat the women great, they treat their children great, and the community flourishes. And that's number one. So we make an intentional effort to love on black men. And so June is Father's Day, but June celebrates so much. You got Pride, you got all of these other, because America tries to get 1 billion holidays in each month, so they maybe can make a little money. You know, this is all a money grab. But the number one thing, it is Father's Day. And if you don't know, I came from a black father, and a black father that was in the house with me, and I have utmost respect for him. I saw him get up 10 toes down for us every day. He came home every night. And that changed my life. When I came to Morgan State University, I saw young women who did not have their father. So I did not even know how it would shape my life, how it would shape my relationships with men, how it would shape how I felt about men, and especially black men. It's having that father there all my life, being a part of my life. And so tonight, this is the Black Fathers Matter series, and this is the last iteration. Remember now, we had 3 of them brothers. We had 3 black men. We had Baba Assar on 6/12/25, who was a community icon in East Baltimore. And then we had a Keyway Barnes, who is Park Heights mayor. This young brother is he's all about Park Heights, and he's inspirational in his path. And we had him on 6/16, the day after Father's Day. And so if y'all don't know, I had to close this series down with Power Baby. I'll try to tell you with the number one power. I've been walking this every time I see him. I'm out in the community a lot. I always believe that I got to go out to the community. So I go out to the community. I want to join hands with the community. I show up to as much as I can show up to. And every time, a lot of things, I see this man, this Darnyle, this guy. He's there doing and busy. Everywhere. I said, who is this guy? Then he got a unique smile. He has a gap. I always remember men who have gaps, I know about them. I know about them. That thing is unique. And so that's a natural resource, baby. And so Darnyle, and I said, who is this guy? And, I got more familiar with him. And every time I see him, I shout him out, we hug. And I just got a lot of respect for this brother. I've been begging him to come see his sister. And tonight, baby, he's here. I want you guys to welcome DW. Say hi to the people, brother. He's here.
Hey, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? Yes, I am here.
He is
Finally,
here.
A long time coming. Like she said, she had to walk me down.
Woo.
And it's not like I was trying to avoid it. Just we never really.
Yeah.
And then one day it just happened. And, that's how it happens. God allows it to happen when it happens.
Yeah, it needs to happen when it's happened. But I needed, I wasted about 3 Pumas on you. I needed my first Puma, bro. I walked out some Pumas. I needed on the first tennis shoes.
I feel you.
But it's always worth it. And things happen when they're supposed to happen. Yeah. And so the number one thing is you are a father. You are a husband. You're a family man. You're all of that. So you fit very well in this series. And you are a father to a lot of people in the community. I mean, they see you. You're out there. And so this is very, I think, applicable to your path. And so we're very honored to have you. That's number one. But we want to hear a little bit about you. Tell us where Darnyle's from. What he is. If he's from Baltimore, would you go to? Because everybody big up schools here. So
right.
Yeah, talk about.
I'm a big up my school. You know that.
Let's go.
So yes, I am born, raised, christened, chastised, everything in Baltimore City.
Whoa.
Everything in Baltimore City. Everything I learned, everything I know, everything I'm about, everything that is within me, Baltimore City groomed, put into me, made me learn, and put me on this path to what I'm on now. I'm born in West Baltimore, McCullough Homes.
Okay.
Funny, both my grandmothers, my maternal and paternal grandmother lived across street from each other. Wow. One lived in Oxford Court, one lived in Starter Court. That's how my mother and my father met. Cross street from each other, McCullough Homes.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's amazing.
One side of the family on one side, the other side on the other side. So anytime I was around in the neighborhood, I was around family. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like one grandmother lived across the town. They both lived across the street from each other.
That's special. Special.
So I attended all Baltimore schools. I attended Mount Royal Elementary Middle. Loved that school. Moved on and matriculated to the Baltimore City College. Yes.
City, baby.
You know how it is. Look, you from Baltimore. Don't nobody care about what college you went to. They want to know what high school you
It's
come
all high school. It's never about college.
High school. Don't nobody care about where you went. Like, all right, I graduated from Morgan, Coppin, Hampton, Spelman, Morehouse. Yeah. That's cool. But what high school did you go to?
That's
you
it.
Know what I'm saying? So I attended the Baltimore City College. Wow. A legacy. My father went to City. I went to City. My daughter, she just graduated from City. My brother-in-law went to City. My brother went to City. Our cousin went to City. Her cousins went to City. City. Yeah, City is what it is. All right, I don't want to mention that other school. That's what it is. But City is where it is.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So you guys are City. I mean, because if anybody don't know, there's a big rivalry in the city.
Right.
I came here to go to Morgan. I never heard of a place that talk about high schools more than they talk about colleges. I ain't never heard that much. But that's what Baltimore is. If they talk about the high schools, they matter. They absolutely matter.
They matter. My wife went to Dunbar. So you say Dunbar, that's
a whole nother tribe.
It's a whole other tribe.
That's a whole nother tribe.
Yeah.
So it's really important here, like where you went to school. It means something. It tells where you live at and know the people you know. And so it has, and like you said, legacy. That legacy just in high school.
Yeah. Just what it is. Like, that's what it is. So
that's what
left
it is.
City, graduated from City, and I went to Hampton University first, right? That's the only college I actually applied to. Ooh. I went on a black college road trip one time, and they took us up to Elizabeth City and Norfolk State and Virginia Union and blah, blah, blah. But I fell in love with Hampton University. Came back home, and that is the only school I applied to. Now, they're saying, you're supposed to apply to like 10 schools and see which one you get in. I only applied to one because I only wanted to go to one. You know what I'm saying? I came home like, God, look, that's where I want to go.
That's intentional.
Make it happen. And he made it happen. Went up to Hampton, look. Went up to Hampton and had way too much fun.
That's what happened.
Way too much fun. This is my first time away from home. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I'm 3.5 hours away. You can't really put your hands on me if you need to put your hands on me immediately. You know what I'm saying? So I'm up there having fun. I'm going to parties on Tuesdays. It's just crazy, right? But it's freedom. It was my freedom. So yes, I had so much fun on campus, got to know people and everything and this, that, and other, but this brother wasn't paying attention to his academics. You know what I'm saying? Look, first story, when I first got there, I fell asleep during my entrance exam. Oh. So all I was able to take was the English part because I fell asleep on the math part. Yeah, it was crazy. I was like out there when it comes to like my academics at the time. And I did good at City. I got up there and I just had too much freedom. Yeah. And my second year, right, I was preparing to come back to Hampton. I'm at home, summertime, getting ready for my junior year. A letter comes to the house, and Hampton was like, "Nah, you ain't come back, bro."
Oh no,
we good. Hampton was like, "We good." I was like, "What?" They were like, "We good. We good. We don't need you coming back with that 1.2 GPA. We good." And the funny part about it is, they were like, "Yo, go to a community college, and get your grades up, and then reapply. Come on back. You know, when you get yourself together, blah blah blah." And I did that. So I enrolled at CCB. Back then it was CCB. And I stayed there for like 3 semesters. Average of 3.8. Right. I sent them grades back to Hampton. They was like, "So we good." They're like, "We good. We remember who you were. We good." So I said, "All right, forget y'all anyway." Went to Morgan, graduated from Morgan. Graduated from Morgan, class 99.
Wait, stop. Because I graduated from Morgan. So, we got to do the Morgan. So you graduated from the Bear. I love it. The Bear Dome. So you was at the other HU. So now you came to the MSU. That's what you should have been.
Right.
That's what you should have been. So I love that. I love to hear that. And I want to say something too, Darnyle. If you have a Black child, let me say something. I just want to say it, and then you keep going. Let them, for their first trip in school, go to a HBCU. I'm not saying that just because it's Black people, but the experience is something you will never experience again in your life.
It was a great experience, and I rarely wanted my daughter to go. She ended up
going. I'm trying to tell you, it is an experience that you will never be able to duplicate.
And I try to tell her that. I try to push that on her. She ended up, and she's gonna be going to University of Maryland College Park in the fall. But I was like, I really was pushing it.
Even if you don't go to more, there's other schools. But let me understand. There's a lot of HBCU. You will never get the experience that you would get in your youth, and the relationships that you will have the rest of your life. And you will see things and experience things that you've never experienced around your parents. You have the freedom to grow into your Blackness very comfortably, where people understand you. I'm saying to you is we need to stress that our children, you can go your master's, PWI, PhD, PW, do whatever you want. But please experience an HBCU in your youth. It changed my life, Darnyle. It literally changed my life.
A lot of people's lives. It to be around us, learning with us, growing with us.
It's an unbelievable experience. You cannot duplicate it. It's unduplicatable. And then the teachers, they care. They stand 10 toes down for you. They know who you are because you were them.
Right.
And they're trying to make you. They're trying to make you into something that their dream. That they want you to be better than them. It is an unbelievable experience.
It's an awesome experience. It's an awesome experience. I'm still holding on hope that she may transfer. So it's.
But it'll be nice. If not, listen, getting an education is a blessing. I will definitely say that. And you can get an education from anywhere. But if you can get an education from your people, with your people, and deal with your Blackness, let me tell you something. Ain't nothing better, baby.
Ain't nothing better. Nothing better. So I graduated from Hampton in 99. And my major was hospitality management. I was already working in hotels while I was going to Morgan. So it was, that was just easy to be able to take those classes, see what I was doing in hotels, and apply that to my education. So I graduated with a bachelor's in hospitality management. Worked hotels for a while, and then I would say about 2014, 2015, a little bit before Freddie Gray is when I really felt like I had to give back to Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? I had to, I had to do more with who I was, what I was doing, what Baltimore meant to me, how I could give back to Baltimore. I was seeing trends in my city going different places that I was like, yo, I'm on the sidelines right now. I need to get in. I need to get in the fray. I need to see what's going on. So I joined 300 Men March. And was a part of that was just eye-opening thing for me, being around Black men every Friday, engaging in neighborhoods, walking through neighborhoods with this big 300 shirt on, just engaging with the residents, engaging with the youth, engaging with the peoples on the corner that gave you respect when they came through, because they know that you weren't coming through as a gang. You was coming through to just be like, hey, what's going on with y'all and how can we help?
Yeah.
You know, but it was 40 of us, and they saw all these black men that would walk the neighborhoods on Friday nights just to make sure you was okay, just to make sure, we know y'all out here, whatever y'all doing, y'all trapping, y'all hustling, everything, but try to love on each other.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what 300 Men March was about. So that really opened my eyes up to activism. But the thing about it, with sometimes when it comes to activism, a lot of people can get into activism based on organizations they join, and it's kind of a think tank where they're thinking about ways to help Baltimore, and they're coming up with programs this and the other. I came into it on the ground, like
application
ground, right?
Yeah.
I was out there like, yo, this, that, other, what we doing and how we helping this family and what we doing with this. So it kind of groomed me into more of the soldier mentality of helping people.
Yeah.
Instead of, it's very important for the people who think logically, come up with the program.
We need every layer. We need your layer. Yeah.
I knew I wasn't that layer because I ain't like meetings. So I knew that wasn't gonna be me.
Okay.
If you look for me, open
You're
the
the
door
ground.
and look outside.
It's on the ground.
That's where I'm gonna be. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I got into it. And when that disbanded, Erica, who was also a part of 300 Men March, we tried to do a couple of things together. I think we did a Village Keepers group, but that didn't pan out. I joined this other group, Band of Brothers, which is another group of brothers, but I'm still a part of that. What we do is we just support other organizations doing good things, and we just come in as men to be like, how can we help? But in 2017, Erica called me up and was like, hey, look, I got this idea about calling a ceasefire for the murders in Baltimore City. And at the time, Baltimore was experiencing a murder every 19 hours.
Really?
Every 19 hours, somebody was getting killed in Baltimore City.
Ouch.
And we were like, somebody got to do something about that. She was like,
ouch.
Who gonna do it? And we was like, I guess we got to do it. Yeah. So she recruited me and other, 3 people, her and Ogun. We got together, the 6 of us, and we came together with Baltimore Ceasefire. And we started doing, the weekends, the 72-hour weekends.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah. And it was another way for me to actually see exactly how people were thinking and what was going on in the city. And also during that time, I was working and becoming a mediator at the Baltimore Community Mediation Center. So I was learning how to resolve conflict. Also out in the streets, bringing what I was learning into the streets of people who didn't understand that sometimes you could talk this out. Sometimes you don't have to resort to violence, because if you get 2 people that can sit there and talk to you about, you talk out your feelings, it might could happen. So on top of that, right, we were trying to wake people up to the numbness that Baltimore City was in on murder. Because a lot of people were looking at the news and seeing somebody get murdered, like, that's Baltimore, and they were numb to it because they were seeing it so much.
So much, yeah.
And we were trying to jolt them back up to be like, hey, look, this is what's going on, and there's another way. There's another peaceful way. So when our first weekend kicked off, and like I told you, somebody was getting killed every 19 hours. When that first weekend kicked off, the first person that transitioned that weekend, we were 42 hours in.
Oh,
so we already broke a record.
You slowed it down.
We slowed it down. And people were like, hold on.
You guys got something.
There's something going on here.
Yeah.
And as I was seeing people, latch on to it and say, hey, it might be something about this peace thing that these cats is doing.
Yeah.
They were hearing about it in New York and Portugal and Spain and all of that. They were hearing about it all over. People wondering what is going on in Baltimore, that somebody decided had a mitigated goal to call a ceasefire in Baltimore, where all these years we're seeing 300 plus murders. Who got the mitigated goal to call for a ceasefire 72 hours? We did.
Yeah, I did.
Because we think Baltimore could do it.
Yeah.
We think Baltimore has the capability to be peaceful in this city. And that was 2017. And it started going on. We changed the name. back in like 2022, where we felt like we wanted to shift from talking less about murder and more about peace. Because we used to say murder is not going to reign in Baltimore City. And then we changed to peaceful reign in Baltimore City. And we wanted people to grasp how peaceful they could be. And if they can grasp how peaceful they could be, then they can exude that peace to other people. So when it was Baltimore ceasefire, we actually experienced 2 weekends when nobody was killed. And one of those weekends went 8 days after that.
Beautiful.
So Baltimore had went 11 and a half days with nobody being killed at one point in time, which wasn't seen in such a long time.
They don't know that that's serious for Baltimore at that point.
So people are like, yo, what is going on? What are we? And then we like, yo, y'all are accomplishing this. This don't got nothing to do with BPD and the state's attorney's office and the mayor's office and their crime plans, whatever.
That's the community.
Y'all chose peace.
Yep.
And if y'all know y'all can choose peace, we can keep this going.
Yeah.
And now in 2024, 2025, they seen the numbers coming down. And and I will never say that it was just us, because there were a lot of other organizations that were out there doing the work.
Sure.
But if these organizations weren't doing the work, where would we still be? People had to grasp the fact that Baltimore can be peaceful. And the residents grasp the fact that, yes, we can do this. And that's why we're here today pushing this peace. And we understand that last year we were below 200. We're trying to push for below 100 this year. And keep on going and keep on going.
Such a blessing.
Sometime, there's going to be sometime 20, 50, 100 years from now, that Baltimore may get back to where the violence goes high. And somebody is going to say, yo,
there's a template. There's a template.
There's a template. Back in 2017, back in 2018, there were these 6 cats and they did this. Let's try that again.
Let's try that again. That's
you know what I'm saying? So
that's what's up.
Yeah.
You did the good work. You did the good work to the point where the mayor is speaking about the crime and they're giving him a lot of accolades, but it's a lot of things to make him work. He needs grassroots organizations. He needs community leaders. If it was just the mayor, the city would have 700 murders. Let's talk about that. If the mayor doesn't have these partnerships with these community organizations, with these leaders who are active, because the application is on the ground and is not in the mayor's office.
Right.
Let's be clear. Policy doesn't, but policy actually most of the time makes things worse. It is people who get things done. It's the people. And so we got to give a clap to the people. And and I'm not a clap to the people. I'm not saying the mayor
all the time.
That's it. I'm not saying the mayor is not present and he has not been a part of it, but the grassroots organizations is everything.
Yes, because the work, if they weren't doing the work silently and in places that people don't know the work is being done.
Exactly.
Like when Safe Streets first came out, We Are Us came, they were actually doing work that people didn't know that was being done. They were stopping beefs that if those beefs wasn't stopped, there would have been more and more people getting killed. So it's like, you have to choose at some point in time how you're going to exist in the area that you're in. And you have residents that chose to one day say, let me put this gun down and try something different.
I absolutely love that. But I want to ask you a question, because when I hear, how the community, because this is a community effort. We just pat them on the back. The community said enough is enough and we want change. And they were active in the change. And these brothers and sisters who are actually out here doing everything, they were active in the change of the narrative. Right. Correct. But I think it's incumbent now on policy and the mayor's office and the governor to put things in place where people feel hopeful. Right. Where they don't lose this hope and you don't lose this momentum, because everything is good when people are feeling good and things are happening, but they need jobs. They need jobs. They need a toolbox. They need, what I'm saying? They need to make some money, not play money.
They need resources that they are entitled to.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. When it comes to resources, people are, that's what people are supposed to get. They're supposed to have resources. They're supposed to have ways to be able to make their lives better. Yeah, Baltimore is one of the places where people feel like Baltimore is resource deficient, and it's not. People just don't know where the resources are. Exactly. And it's up to us, it's up to the mayors, up to all these agencies to let people know where the resources are and how to obtain them, so I can move from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I love that.
It's the well. It's the well that people are trying to get out of. If I could, I can always find resources to get somebody food. I can also find resources to get somebody clothes. I can find resources to get somebody a job. Yeah. But what I want to do is I want to get past the Band-Aid level and get down into the well that says, what's going on down there that keeps bringing you to this point?
Exactly.
Let's start fixing that down there.
Yes.
If I could pull that out and help you with that down there, then the festering down there is not going to pull you down. Once I get you this food once, you're going to know how to keep doing it and keep doing it. I get you this job. You're going to know how to keep getting it and keep getting it. I get you these resources, education. You're going to know how to do it, because what's holding people down, it's the well under them.
The
and it
pull.
Could be mental. It could be societal. It could be psychological. It could be whatever. But that's what's bringing it down. You got the same person going to come back to you every month, every week saying, yo, I need groceries. Yo, I need this. And I'm like, I'm going to help you, bro. I'm going to help you, sis. But let's talk about what's going on the part that I can't see.
Yep.
What's back there?
Your behaviors, what you're doing. And I think a lot of times we want to know what they're doing. But I think it's also incumbent of our leaders, as you know, the honorable mayor, the brother mayor, and the governor. I see he just said something about put $4 million into a training program, into training of Marylanders, which is great. But I think that you have to have outlets for people that matter. Not something and more imagination than cleanups, or people need real resources and real skill sets. They need skill sets.
It's so much help that people need, and there are places that people get it. It's just that I like it, the fact that whatever organization I'm a part of, when I'm doing work with Baltimore Peace Movement, when I'm doing work with my band of brothers, we are finding resources for people that don't know how to find a resource themselves.
Yes.
Because an average person can go inside of social services, but don't know that this is what social service does.
Yeah.
And will leave there getting one thing, but could have got help with 10 other things, but they just didn't know it was there.
Exactly.
Right. They didn't know it was there. Yeah. And we just got to be able to see past, or be able to even be brave enough to ask past what's going on.
Communicate it out. Exactly.
We got to communicate it out. Communicate it out. I'm so proud of my mayor, because he takes a holistic approach to things.
Okay. And
when you take a holistic approach to things, you're now operating in the not what's wrong with you, but what has happened to you realm. Because a lot of people, when you ask them what happened to you, then you start to get the story. And it may not always be something that was their fault. It may not be always something that they put themselves into. It could be factors that happen around them, or things that came to their family, or things that just that came through the job, whatever it is. But when you find out what happened to somebody, you get a blueprint and an outline on how to help them.
You're saying it's the story, it's the trauma, and then you get the story, and then the trauma that the story created.
Right.
And so that trauma is where the limits start, and where the bad decisions start.
Right.
Is not dealing and healing. And that's the number one place but those are things that we have to kind of have as hierarchies in our community, because we are a community that is traumatized, literally.
Yes, very much so.
On every level, societal, family, and it's just really hard for us in a lot of ways. And so we got to definitely deal with that. And when we deal with that, we start pulling those layers back. People they can become ambitious. They can look past their self and the stuff, and do things that are bigger. But those things have to be in place. So I say that it's incumbent upon our leaders to make it easier for people.
Yes, much
so.
Listen,
make it easier. Look have some imagination for what they can do and how they can apply what they do.
Yes.
We got to have spaces in technology. Technology is limitless. We should be creating.
Man, we in AI right now. AI is doing so much.
Bro, everything. It's going to be telling us what to do.
It's right. We going to be working for a computer one day.
You know all day. It's happening in front of our eyes.
It's happening right in front of our eyes. One of the things that, not one of the things, but the other reason why I do what I do is because I got daughters.
Yeah, there we go.
I got
father. Yes,
I got 2 daughters that are growing up in this age that it's just this technology, the social media age that they aren't paying. And I don't expect them to, but they didn't pay attention to the streets like I did. You know what I'm saying? They didn't. They got a
different focus
because they got a whole new different focus, right?
Yeah.
So I gotta put forth a footprint where even if they veer this way or veer that way, if they step in that footprint, they'll have a tag. They'll be like, okay, all right, I see what my father was doing.
Yeah,
I see what he was. I see the protections he was putting in place.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, I feel like I'm doing some of these things and I'm making these partnerships and I'm talking to these brothers and I'm trying to help people. Whereas if my daughter is anywhere in Baltimore City and they say that's Darnyle Wharton daughter, oh, we got her.
We got it. That's right.
We got her.
That's what it is.
Because that brother is this.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
This brother's this. This brother helped me with this one. This brother, I know this brother. I seen how this brother moved. Blah blah blah. No, we got her.
I love that.
We got her. We good. I only got to call him and tell him I got her. I only got to know. But if I put her around certain people, I know she's taken care of. And that's why I kind of do the things that I do, because as a Christian, our job is to help people. Our job is to help people. The Lord put us on this earth to help somebody.
Yeah. We're here of service.
We're here of service. That's what we're supposed to do. And while I'm out here helping people, I'm offering a choice. I'm offering a choice. As a Christian, I'm supposed to offer the choice of, do you know about Jesus Christ? As an activist, I'm supposed to have a choice of, if you weren't doing this right now, what would you want to be doing? I leave with that question sometimes. I taught this one brother when I was out on the streets, just talking about ceasefire stuff, and I said, yo, if you weren't trapping right now, what would you want to do? And he said, Mr. D, I would love to get my GED. I went to my phone. I called my phone my resource pack. You know what I'm saying? Because I got everybody's number now. I went to my phone. I go into my contacts and I just type in GED, and all these lists of people will come up. And I pulled them up, and I wrote this name down, and I wrote this program down, and I wrote this number down, and I gave that to him. And I said, call this person tomorrow. And this person can put you on the path to get your GED.
I love it.
Now, what happened there was, when he woke up that morning, he now had a choice. Do I go out and trap, or do I see what's going on with this education thing?
He had a choice or a chance. He had it.
A choice or a chance.
Yeah.
A choice or a chance. And that's the one thing. And that's the thing we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be able to give people resources to make a choice. And if they make that choice, it's on them on what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And then you follow up. I followed up with that brother. I didn't call. I didn't want to call the person who number I gave to be like, yo, this dude call you. I followed up with the brother. I said, hey, that number I gave you a couple weeks ago. He's like, yo, Mr. D, I start my class tomorrow.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're here for.
That's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's what we're supposed to do. And we put those things into existence in the aura. So when we got to do stuff like protect the steps that my daughters are going to take, we set that up with the work that we do.
That's why Black fathers matter.
Yeah, that's why we matter.
That's why we matter. And that's what and you just set the tone, is that someone has to do it for you. We look at other communities; they are setting their children up. We got to set up children up. And it's not particularly because we equate everything to money and giving people stuff, but having social capital, having community capital, sometimes will get you farther because you have relationship. And relationship is important. You need to know something. It's very important. And so what you're doing is setting the stage for your daughters to flourish in Baltimore City. And it's a blessing for them.
Yeah.
Because, you got people who talk about, like, my dad was in the streets. And when I got in the streets, everybody, they took me in. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Same thing, but on a whole different level, baby.
On a whole different level. You know what I'm saying? Like people go, everybody might not know who I am.
Yeah.
but I try to make myself known to the people that's going to make a difference.
That's what's important.
Yeah.
It will trickle down to everybody else. Trust me.
It will trickle down to everybody else. And if my daughter say, hey, I need to do this, or I need to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that, hopefully I can make a call and be like, hey, call this person. And when they hear her name, they go, oh, you the daughter? Oh, yeah, come on. Come on.
I got you. And that's where you don't ever want to go somewhere and be like, that your dad was him.
Right.
Bruh. You know what we'll say. You know we say it in the nah.
That's your dad? Oh, yeah, no. We don't got nothing right now.
That's trash. Gotta go. so it is integral for us to leave a space for the next one.
Right.
That's why we're here. You know, we talk now about the ancestors and how present they are in our lives. And imagine we're going to be an ancestor at some point. Yeah. And we want our children to have something to look up to and nothing to look down at.
Right.
You know, so I love that what you're doing. I mean, I see you out there. So you're not just talking to me, you're doing it. And so that's the blessing of it. It's to hear you kind of say that is your intentional movement. It's not, you're not just out here playing, you're intentionally making spaces for your children and also for your own legacy.
Yes.
Yeah, when they talk about you, they're not going to say that, so that's a stand-up brother right there.
Right. My father taught that. He was like, whatever you do, whatever room you are in and whatever room you leave, whatever space you enter, whatever space you leave, make sure you leave with people saying good things about you.
That's right. That's right.
He said that's going to carry you.
That's going to carry you. I was telling somebody the other day, I strive every day to be kind.
Yeah.
Because in this world, you can be nasty because it's a lot going on.
It's very easy to be.
It's very easy to be.
Very easy to be.
Concerted effort to be kind because that is where the blessings are, and kindness and just being open to others. We got to do that. I want to provide service all the time. That's my, they say that's your rent that you pay to live. That's my rent. And I pay my rent. I pay my rent.
And it's not even, you know what? It's not knowing that you're going to do everything right all the time.
Real talk.
There's going to be moments.
Yeah.
But if you can learn from the moments, which my father also told me, you're going to have moments where you're going to be like, yo, why did I do that? Or, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. He said, you go through those moments, but you learn from those moments.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you get the right lesson from that moment, you're not going to go back to that.
Yep. I like that. You're
going to say, I recognize what's going on right now, and let me fix it while I can. Instead of going back into like, oh, I done did it again. Oh, I done did it again. Oh, I done did it again. If you keep doing it, that means that's what you want to do.
You like it. Stop it. You like
it. Right.
Yeah, real talk.
Right.
And sometimes, Donna, you take an L. But my mom said, don't worry about the loss. Worry about the lesson.
Worry about the lesson.
It's the lesson. Sometimes you're going to take an L. We always want to win. I'm going to win. But sometimes you don't win. But there's a lesson in loss.
Right.
That can make you win later. You got to get that lesson. You
gotta get that lesson. You got to.
I was looking at the Pacers and the Thunder. They got a lesson going on. The Thunder won. Right. And the Pacers got to go back. Halliburton got hurt, but there's a lesson in loss.
There's a lesson in it. And they were there. They were right there.
Right there. But life happens. Accident happens. Injury happens. You learn from it. Right. You learn from it. So, loss is not something that we should shun because there's lessons in it. That's more or less what we're saying. So Baltimore Peace Movement, we hear how it started because I think it's such a viable movement. We want to shout out Erica and Oshun, you said? Ogun. We're going to shout out those two and the other three, right? So
Zakia, Michelle, and Latrice.
I gotta say all the names. So shout out to all the founding members. You guys have
my squad. My
squad is creative genius. It is absolutely genius. The people, it resonates with the people when you're up there in the village. Everybody's out there with you. It resonates.
It definitely resonates.
It's become a cookout. I'm like, this thing is a daggone cookout.
The reason why we choose a village is because after all these years, people who are going to and from work or home, when they riding past, they see, oh, we know what to do. We've been here before.
Yeah, they know what's up. Yeah.
We've been here before.
Yeah. And
They
I
know
think
what's up.
even the neighborhood listen to it. I mean,
Yeah.
they're part of it. They know it's going to happen. They're out on
Right.
their porches. They're contributing. And you guys are not just doing this in the summer. You're doing it winter.
We're doing winter. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a
Because
yearly thing.
we realized that, I think one of the things that Erica talked about when we first started, we realized that murder ain't taking a day off.
Ooh, you better say it.
You know what I'm saying? So we're not going to take a day off.
I get it. You got to work. You got to keep your foot on the neck.
It's a battle. It's a battle. It's a war. We got to, all right, y'all ain't taking a day off, so we ain't going to take a day off.
I love that.
We're going to continue to push this peace.
Peace now. You always have to continue to infiltrate peace, especially when the devil's present. Always. So what's next for Baltimore Peace Movement, the BPM? What's next?
So right now we are we're still getting ambassadors. We train ambassadors probably at the end of this year. We'll do our next training class where we're bringing in people who can talk more about, we train them to talk about the movement and to be in spaces where they can talk about the movement. We got youth ambassadors and everything. We're getting it, we'll try to get into more schools. We got like 2 or 3 schools that we're in. That they're called Peace Movement schools. They do events on Peace Movement weekends. And now we're in the process of getting Peace Movement churches. You know what I'm saying? So right now we're in kind of talks with the United Methodists. They got like 75 churches in Baltimore or Baltimore and Maryland, whatever. And if we can get them to be Peace Movement churches, that means we're going to have at least 70 churches doing events on every Peace Movement weekend geared toward peace.
That's big. That is big, because in every neighborhood is a church in the store.
Every neighborhood is a church. I tell people all the time. Church used to be, and probably still should be, they were the pulse of the neighborhood.
Absolutely, of course.
When you lived in a neighborhood, you had your meetings at the church. You had your neighborhood meetings at the church. You had your bake sales. You had your block parties in the block of the church, because the church was the heartbeat. Absolutely. That's where it came from. We got to get back to the point where the church is the heartbeat, and the church got to make sure that they're being open and having their doors open to the people that are out there. Get out those 4 walls and talk to the people. You know what I'm saying?
That's so true. I love that. And I think too, what you said, it used to be because them people saw that and they made the church impotent.
Right.
They used policy and they used money to make the church impotent because it was so big in the movement of the African. Right. And so, but we got to move past getting our own streams, and the church has to get youthful. The church has to grow. And there's no knock on the church, but we have to make everything has to stay viable, and you need youth to stay viable. I'm not saying you don't need you. We definitely need wisdom, but we need young people so the church can continue, and then we can do these things that are relevant to now.
And the church got to reach out more often. Don't just reach out when you're having revival. You know what I'm saying? Or you got something at the church. You got to reach out more often, because here's the thing about the church when it comes to the community. There's going to come a time where the church is going to go through something. Yeah. And what if the doors of the church close? Is the neighborhood going to respond in oh my God, no. We gotta activate. Or is the church gonna or the neighbor gonna be like,
I think they're gonna be like,
it don't matter,
because they don't feel the church.
My pastor used to say it all the time when before Jamal went down to Atlanta.
Yeah.
He used to always say, if the doors of the empowerment temple close today, what kind of bump would that be in Park Heights? Will Park Heights feel it? Or will Park Heights go along like ain't nothing happen? We got to operate where Park Heights would feel if the doors of empowerment temple closed. Got it. At that particular point in time, I was the president of the men's ministry, and I was like, no, when we meet, when we talk, when we get together, we going out.
That's it.
We going out.
To people.
We got to go to the people.
Yeah.
People got to know who we are.
Yeah. The church got to do Christ. Christ is staying in the church. Come on, let's talk about. You want to talk scripture? Just Christ instead.
You want to talk? You want to talk the first activist?
Christ.
The first activist.
He was down with the least of them, baby.
With the least of them.
Yes. And so we got to emulate. If you want to be a part of something, then you got to emulate the behavior.
You gotta
Emulate
emulate
the behavior. And that's not what's happening. We're getting in our pretty cars and we're going back to the county.
right.
We got to do better. We got to do better. Our people are screaming for assistance. Just love. Just to stand on the corner and tell brother, I love you. They don't hear that.
Man, look.
They don't hear that.
When you walk streets and you talk to somebody, you just say hello or hey brother, look, I see you out here. It's, you know, I love you. I know you got people that love you, but I'm letting you know that I love you. Or you just recognize, or you just you speak to somebody and they know they're being seen.
Yes.
It's a whole new thing. It's a whole new thing when people feel seen.
That is it. There's an African, I hope I don't mess up proverb. A child that's not heard by the village will burn it down, baby.
Just to feel its warmth.
You got it. You got it. So it's very important to be seen. Just like representation. You need to see yourself. You also need to be seen so you can see yourself. How about that?
So you can see yourself.
And so it's very important that we acknowledge young people, that we acknowledge old people. It's some old people that want to be seen. It hasn't been seen all their life. Yeah, so it's a real important thing. So these partnerships are going to move past just individuals, but ambassadors are going to move now into organizations, more schools, more churches. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Have you ever thought to partner, because who are very active on the street is FOI and NOI.
Yeah, they love us and we love them.
Excellent.
We did our first I think it was like a resource fair. DJ, free food, blah blah blah. It was a lot going on in Harlem Park. That we did it in Harlem Park for like that Saturday and that Sunday. And FYI was like, yo, we'll be your security. We come through, make sure everything's straight. Every time if they doing something, they'll invite us like, yo, y'all want to walk with us here? Y'all want to do this? So yeah, we also got to make sure that what we made sure of is that we keep those partnerships in. Because we cannot,
I think sometimes we get so enshrouded in our religions and our affiliations.
Right.
We forget that we're Black people, we're Africans, and that we have a cultural connection and a connection that goes before we are organizing everything. It is a genetic connection.
I was born a little Black boy before I was Christian, Muslim, whatever.
Or you was anything. And so that cultural connection is important. And so regardless of your affiliation, we should all want the community to be a viable community.
Right.
First. And then you choose who your spiritual affiliation with, whatever you're doing. But viability in how we treat each other, how we live in community, and how we feel about each other. Yeah. And so I'm very glad that you have, relationships out of Christianity. It's just being Black and trying to.
And it's just being Black. When
concerned about the neighborhood.
Yeah, our new pastor at Empowerment Temple, Pastor Turner, when he first got here, first thing I did is I took him to a We Are Us outside event. You got to meet these brothers. I need you to meet these brothers.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He was like, well, hey, they're all Muslim. I said, I know.
Yeah.
But we all doing good work and he fell in love with him. He's like, yo, I love this.
Yeah.
Because you got to get, again, I told him, I said, you look at me, I'm bringing you out of the four corners of the church. We out of four walls. We getting out and about because I need you to see exactly what Baltimore's about. He was hanging with me, and so his first heroin addict just laid out on the steps and was just chilling. And he was like, "What's going on here?" I said, "What can happen now is I can either give him some Narcan and mess up his high, or
he's gonna be real unhappy with you.
He get himself together and continue on." And he was like, "This is what we did." I said, "This is what we're dealing with in Baltimore, but." It's a love for him.
This is real.
It's a love for him. I'm gonna make sure while we sitting here, I'm gonna make sure he all right.
And that's what we have to. People have issues but they're still humans, and they're our humans, and we have to take care of folks. And it's very important that a pastor experiences all of everything, the blight, the gritty, all of that. The grime, you gotta feel that, brother, because that makes your message better. You know who you're talking to. People who've been
exactly who you talking to.
You're at the bottom, baby. you got to talk to the people at the bottom. I love it. I definitely love that. I know that was a shock to the brother, but he needed that.
Yeah, he's from Tulsa. He was like, oh man. He's like, oh man. I'm like, yeah. I'm putting you in front of it all.
Absolutely.
And I want you to be able to speak when you preach and when you're talking. You're gonna be like, yeah, I'm Baltimore now, because I done seen it all. Darnyle took me everywhere. I done seen. I was in Park Heights. I was in McCullough Homes. I was everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Because
that brother needed strong coffee. He needed strong with caffeine that night.
Yeah,
because you made him see the light. I love it.
You got to.
You got to see all of Baltimore. You know, this is not a fairy tale. This is reality.
This is reality.
This is reality. It's a lot going on. This be more. It is, and you know what? I'm down south a lot now, and it's a lot in the south too. Yeah. These things that we're experiencing might not the way the Baltimore is, but it's still the same stuff. The same lack of, the same drug issues, the same lack of resources, lack of community. You see it proliferate and manifest in different ways, but it's still the same lack.
Yes.
In our community, and it's a sad state of affairs that wherever you go, Black people struggling, baby.
Black people are struggling. And when I think about the things that I do, I'm like, yo, how else can I help my people? You know what I'm saying? What else can I do to be able to help the next person?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, I mean, I think I posted something a long time ago that said, if you wait until you have everything to help everybody,
you'll never do nothing.
Instead of helping one person at one time, you're not going to have nothing to be able to help anybody. Help somebody now.
Help somebody now.
Help somebody now.
I like that. I definitely like that. And it seems like you have all these sayings. It's about service. Yeah. It's like, you're constantly throwing that into yourself. Like, I'm here to serve, and you're finding ways to continue to serve. That's a beautiful thing, you know, because you can tell yourself a lot of shit. To be honest, you can talk to yourself about because we talk ourselves sometimes into foolishness. Right. But if you give yourself affirmations, I'm here to serve. Yeah. I care about my community. I care. And then at some point, you're going to move on that. Yeah. You're going to move on that because you're talking to yourself. And this is all tissue. It has memory. This thing got memory. It understands
exactly what it is. When I decided, I think when I decided to go into hotels, I was working as a busboy in the hotel's restaurant. And I happened to be in the hallway, and some dude needed help. Some family needed help with their luggage, right? Now I'm supposed to be picking up dishes and putting them on a cart and being back in the restaurant, helping them bust tables and all that. But I stopped and be like, well, yeah, let me help you with this. So I helped him put his bags on and walked into the front desk, and I walked up to the room and blah, blah. And the look on their face from somebody just helping them was like, yo, thank you. And I came back downstairs and I busting tables. But that night I was like, yo, I was able to affect somebody's day by helping.
Yes.
And I was like, well, maybe this is what I'm going to do. And I stayed in hotels, because hotels is basically when you leave from where you are and come to a hotel, you're looking to get an experience somewhat like when you're at home.
Absolutely.
My job is to try to make you have that experience while you're here under my watch.
You're the curator.
I'm the curator. I want your food to be the best food you taste. I want the bed to be the softest bed. I want the pool to be the warmest water. I want the towel to be the softest. All that is supposed to happen because it's an experience that I'm giving you. Yeah. But I'm also helping you get that experience, right? Mm-hmm. Right. So when I left hotels, it was easy for me to venture into activism because it's, again, another way of helping somebody.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's another way of helping somebody.
Now you're starting to help others and self, because when the community flourishes, you flourish. It's our community.
Exactly. When and it took me back to that one time in 2015 when I was like, what can I do to help Baltimore?
Yeah.
This is what I could do.
Because we're part of Baltimore. If Baltimore flourish, me and you flourish.
It might not be as grand as some people may think,
but you flourish.
You flourish.
If a place that around you is unsafe and it gets safer, you're going to flourish.
You're going to flourish. You're going to flourish.
You're going to flourish. You might it might not be, it's just you, But if you have a place where you're safe, because that's what we all want.
Right.
We want to live in a safe place for our family and our children. That's what we want.
That's what we all want.
That's what we all want.
We want to be able to just be safe. I was talking to these young cats that was hustling, and they were like, yo, what do you do? What are you, what are you about? And I told them what I do. I think I was working for the consent decree Martin team at the time. I said, I work for them. I talk about a consent decree. I get in my car. I go home. Hey, what kind of car you got? And I said, well, I got a Nissan Altima and blah, blah, blah. And I said, they were like, well, yo, you ain't making that much money. You ain't this, that, and the other. You ain't blah, blah, blah. I said, but I don't have to look up. I don't have to look behind me. I don't got to watch my back. I can drive home and be safe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about somebody rolling up on me. And that's what I want for y'all. I want y'all to be able to rest when you go home.
How about that? How about sleeping well?
Sleeping well. I want you to be able to walk out your house and walk down the street, not worry about somebody coming up behind you doing something to you.
That's it. But that too is not a problem. This quest we had with the bag is a scary quest. We got to be careful how we have made money as everything. Going to get something or buying something, and we look pretty outside. We fresh. We got the freshest car, but we broken inside. We gotta heal from inside out, baby.
You gotta heal from inside out. You gotta be able to find what it is inside of you that no matter what's going on, you're gonna feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, you can dress up pain, but it's still pain, baby.
Right. Because once you deal with that, then everything outside is just going to come into place. It don't matter what you got on. You still going to feel good about yourself because it's going to be like, I'm in tune with who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's it. And I want that for these young people. I think that they're hopeless in a lot of ways. They feel they don't have a choice, and they want to have everything today. And it don't work like that. It's a false sense that you can get it all now. You got to work. You got to set things in place to get to. We live in this microwave society and it's scary. In a lot of ways.
Very scary.
It's not the truth.
And here's the thing: we live in this microwave life, but people don't understand that the microwave gives off stuff that's not good for you.
What? It gives off radioactivity, baby.
It gives off radioactivity that's not good for your system.
It isn't. That's something right there. That's a great example.
It's not a good cooked meal. You know what I'm saying?
It's not.
A good cooked meal got ingredients that you got to put in.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? It takes a while to do it.
You got to mix it up. You got to let it simmer. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Even when you eat the leftovers of that meal the next day, those ingredients have marinated into something that gives you a whole new different taste.
Go ahead, DKW. You preach it, bro.
You know what I'm saying? The microwave will give you something.
That pot is better the next day, baby. Shit, that pot is better the next day. I'm telling you now.
It's much better the next day because those ingredients that you put the love into and everything, it marinated into something.
That's so true. I love that. You know, we've been here 57 minutes. I don't even feel like it's like talking to my brother. I love it.
Hey, man, that's how it is. It's like talking to my sister. I told people when I was telling people what I was doing, I was like, I finally get a chance to sit down and talk to my sister.
That's it. And that's what it feels like. I want you to kind of tell us, how does it feel being a Black father? Because this is the Black Father series, Matter series, and you're going to close it out. So I really want you to talk about, because you talk about your daughters and being a husband. How does that make you feel as a man?
It feels glorious because I know that I was chosen by God to be the person in their lives to guide them to what they need to be. You know what I'm saying? God said, these are the two that I'm making you their earthly father to guide them in the way that I guided you, which caused me to say, I got to do the best job that I can, because it was the Lord that got me to where I am. So if he got me here, then I got to make sure that I'm doing what I can, what I learned from him, what I got from him, what he put inside of me to make sure I'm grooming them and getting them to where they need to be. I think being a father is one of the most important roles that a man can have, because it forces you to love outside of yourself. You know what I'm saying? It forces you to
It forces
show
you into
love.
selflessness.
Selflessness. It forces you to show love in a way that it's not all about you. It's the sacrifice. It's the aura that you give. It's the lessons that you give. It's the patience that you gotta have. Because what you did was you brought something in. You brought a being into the world that didn't ask to be here, but now you gotta guide them. And how are you going to guide them? What are you going to do to guide them? Are you going to guide them in a way that could possibly bring them harm? And why would you do that to something that you created? It's a creation. God created us, and He looks out for us every day. So if God created us and He put us in a place where we got to create something, we got to create that we got to treat that creation like He created, like He treated us. Absolutely. I can't treat my creation worse than how He treated me. So my job as a father is to be the strongest, is to be the most lovingest, is to be the most understanding, to be the most patient person that my child sees ever.
Whoa.
That's because I am the first man that they encounter.
Yep.
And if I'm the first man that they encounter, I gotta be the best man I could possibly be, because they're gonna encounter other men out here.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't the strong person, if I wasn't the loyal person, if I wasn't a person of integrity, anybody out here is going to be able to mold them into something that they want them to be, because I look at my father and it wasn't much.
You got to be better than that, and he's bad.
Right. Right.
Yeah. That's what I say. You got to be better than that, and that's
you got to be better than him.
And he doing it. So you better come right, and that's what's important. That's why being a girl dad is so important.
Yes,
I'm a girl, and I had a dad, and it's so important because we learn from that relationship with our dad.
Right.
How we're going to have men in our lives. And the women who've had a lot of problems with men, usually they've not had relationships with fathers.
Right.
It's just what it is. It's so important to have your father in your life as a girl. Your mother's, of course, mother's important also.
Right.
But father is just as important. Or God wouldn't have made it. You could just have a mother and move on.
Right.
It's a reason why men are important, ladies.
It's a reason.
I'm talking to the ladies. Listen, let these men into these children's lives, because there's a reason. God knows best. And if you could make it by yourself, he could have done that. He was omnipotent. He could do what he wanted. But he understood it needed to be two.
Yeah.
With two different skill sets.
Right.
To raise this one being.
Right. Two different mindsets, two different ways of raising.
Too many approaches. Exactly.
Yeah. Two different approaches. It's all that, but you blend it together into one, and to be able to, raise.
You raise your child. And because a lot of times when I see a parent like you, and then I look at your child, they're only an emulation of you. When you don't put nothing in something, you ain't getting nothing, baby.
Right.
It's what you put in is what you get out.
Because you got to look at the word raise. Raise means to bring up.
You better say
if I'm not raising, that means I'm not doing anything for you to come up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ain't not gonna sprout. I'm just being somebody in your life.
Yep. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So no, my job is to raise you.
That's what fathers
my job to do. Yeah.
And I tell you guys, that's why Black fathers matter. That is just the reason why Black fathers matter. Darnyle, listen, you made for this, bro. This your thing. You're a talker. You got your sayings together. You charming the audience.
Right. I tried. Look, here's the thing.
You're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. We're gonna be preaching next.
A lot had to learn.
You're gonna be the pastor next, bro. You coming. You coming hard. So you go to Empowerment Temple.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. I remember when I first went to Empowerment Temple, I was going there for a minute when Jamal was the
okay.
Because it was a movement here. It was absolutely a movement. Not that it still isn't, but it was definitely a movement especially when he first started. He left Bethel, I think.
Right, left Bethel. Right.
He came over and then started, and he was young, and Yeah. So it was really, and he built the church so fast.
Let me tell you a quick story about that.
Okay.
So we came up together in Bethel. My mother was a minister of Bethel.
Okay.
His father was a pastor of Bethel. So we kind of came up together. We went to the same, me and him went to Mount Royal, and we went to city together. So we came up, right? Right. One day we was it was a Sunday, and we were going to the store. Mm-hmm. Long as we was back by the time the sermon started, we was good. So we was going to the store, and we was walking to the store, and I'm 2 years older than he is. Yeah, I'm 2 years older than he is. And so that means I was 13, I think he was 11. And we walked to the store, and he said, "Yo, are you gonna be there when I open my church?" This at 11.
What?
This at 11. He said, "When I open my church, you gonna be there?" I said, "Of course I'm gonna be there." And in 2000, when we went down to the Baltimore Grand, who was at the front door handing out
DW?
I was handing them out. I was seating people. You can sit over there. You can sit over there. I was there.
Yeah, because he started there. It was small. Yeah, that's where he started. Yeah,
right. Wow. We started in the Baltimore Grand, and we went up to Coppin, and we went to Walbrook, and then we ended up on.
I met you at Coppin. That's why I met him. I started to come to Coppin. Started filling Coppin up. Couldn't stay in there. It was too many people. Yeah. Right. Wow. So this started when you guys were preteens.
We were preteens.
Let's tell you about manifestation.
He was thinking about that at 11.
Yes. The manifestation of thought and how important it is. Like you think children don't know who they want to be. I mean, that's what he is today. Yeah, that's exactly what he is today. Wow. That's an amazing story. That is an amazing story. Do you still keep in touch with him?
Yeah. I was talking to him the other day when that whole NBC, when the whole National Baptist Convention took that.
Yeah, they took the money. What's wrong with them people?
I texted him up. I was like, "Yo, is New Birth part of that?" He was like, "No." He's like, "No, we ain't part of that." I was like, "All right, I'm just making sure."
that is what's up. I was like, why would they do that? But listen, it's everything great always have detractors. Yeah, just remember that, and you have to keep going forward. What you gonna do? That's unfortunate. 300,000 ain't enough for me.
It ain't enough at all.
People, you got to come up with 300 million so I can empower a lot of people.
Look.
You got to come with some money, baby. If I'm going,
that valuation last year was 10 billion. Come on,
and you give me 200K? Nah, but it takes big minds to do big things. Yeah, small minds always do small things, and that's why 300K is enough. I'm just being honest. Just being honest.
They thought it was enough. They thought
it was enough. This backlash ain't sweet. Right. I know that.
This sweet at all.
Ain't sweet at all. So listen, I just really, I hope you'll come back. I just really enjoy.
I'm definitely gonna come back. This was so much fun. I like doing stuff like this.
It's hard to get you in that chair, daggone.
I know. It was hard. It was.
You like it. You would never think. But I am very happy to have. I mean, I'm just really happy to have you because I know you would bring something. And I told my team, I'm like, listen, he got to end the series. I don't care what you say. Right. We'll get it. We'll get a middle. We wanted a young person. To get the young brother, and we wanted an elder at the beginning. I'm like, but we need that. We need DW at the end. I don't care if I got to go to his house and knock on the door. He's gonna be at the end. So I want to say shout out to your family, to your wife who brought the beautiful seeds to life. Ashe to your wife. We definitely. My sister. I always got to talk. I love my brothers, but you gotta have respect for the wives. Yes. So I gotta say Ashe to her because she holds you down and allow you to move around the community, like you do. And so, every great man has a great sister somewhere around.
Without complaint. That's the best part. Without complaint.
Really? That's beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? It's when I told her, when I joined 300 Men March, and I told her that I'm going to be going out every Friday evening. Wow. The average wife would be like, no. When we going to go out? She was like, do your thing. Go ahead.
That's your partner.
When you come back.
That's your partner. Yeah, that's your partner. When a person understands you, they understand what you want to do. That's your partner. And so Ashe to her. What's her name?
Angela,
Ashe to her. That's my middle name. Ashe to Angela. Yeah. Ashe to her. And I hope one day I'm able to meet her. But that's definitely a blessing. And listen, keep being an exceptional Black man,
Thank you very much.
I'm sure you're a great father. You are definitely a pioneer in our community. We appreciate your work.
Thank you.
We appreciate your service, and we appreciate your heart. You have to have a heart for the people when you give your time. And and a lot of people don't say thank you. So I'm here to say for the community, thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for what you do here, because
I appreciate that.
When you facilitate conversation, you get to start experiencing things and hearing things that the average person, like when you have conversations with somebody, they may say something that they probably wouldn't have said last week or next week.
I hear some amazing things. Like us talking, I've learned so much about you. I've learned, I know I see you, but I've actually, it's more of an intimate space. And I hear, your passion. You are passionate about this work.
Right.
And so it's more than showing up to you. And so that's important, because you put yourself in all these different places. That has to be passion. No one's doing that unless they like it.
Like it, love it, and love to hear how people respond to it. That's the best part, how people respond to it. When people know that they've been helped, it's not always about them. Let me email you. Let me do this for you. It's the fact that you were able to do something that can get them to the next minute.
That's it. That's it.
Sometimes that's all they need. Sometimes I need a way to get to the next minute.
That's it.
That's it.
It's just that simple. Can I just move to the next minute? The next 60 seconds.
Next minute.
The next 60 seconds. That's
what we're here for. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, that is what we're here. I live in service. Black Box Radio is a service. If we can ever be a service to the Baltimore Peace Movement, please call on us.
Most definitely.
If you guys are doing something and you want to talk about it, please call on us. Our doors are always open to the community. And big up to your tribe, your squad. You guys are doing an amazing work in Baltimore. And I just really appreciate it. At the end of every show, I have people leave a jewel. Okay. So, I need you to drop DW's jewel. Drop it, bro.
My jewel, and this is everything that I always end up with. Nothing changes if nothing changes.
That's it.
That's it. I don't even really got to explain that.
Nah, you take it and you let it fall on your head and see how.
Let it fall there. No matter what you're doing.
Wow. Say that one again.
Nothing changes if nothing changes.
They got so much meaning in those words. Wow.
I live by that.
You live by that. That's your thing.
I live by that.
Well, I'm writing that one down, and I got to put that on the screen. That's serious. Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Yeah.
Wow, like that. Listen, I want to say thank you. Ashe to you. I will see you out. I know because you are. Yeah, Ashe to you. And listen, come back. Come see us again. Bring the squad. Bring that.
You're not gonna be able to run another pair of Pumas out before I come back.
Thank you, God. Thank you. I got no more money, bro. So listen, bring the squad. Y'all come see me and let's talk about the Baltimore Peace Movement. I really love what you're doing. And when is the next joint? When are you guys?
Next Baltimore Peace Movement is August. First week in August. Y'all put that on your calendar, people. Emerson Village. It's gonna be popular. That's where we start off. We always kick off in Emerson Village.
That's it. That's the kickoff. So listen, Darnyle, you have a great night. Black Box.
A great night too.
I don't want you to leave. We get ready to go, guys. We're out of here. It's been an hour and they don't even feel like it.
Right.
We're just chopping it up. It just feels really good. So we want to say good night to everyone. Let's get these deuces up. We out of here. Good night, guys.
Deuces, y'all.
Deuces. Don't go nowhere, Darnyle. You stay right
there. All right.